With me now is Lettie. Lettie, you are a cattle rancher. You are from the state of Kansas. Kind of tell us a little bit about your guys' operation and how you got in this industry.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a fourth generation farmer and rancher. We run cow-calf, and then we also run wheat pasture cattle. So I grew up on it, but I didn't want to come back to it originally. I wanted to get out of Southwest Kansas, but I found my way back home.
That's so funny. You kind of hear that more times than not. I'm never going to go back to the farm, and then you find yourself back at the farm and you're really happy you did. Talk about that.
Absolutely. So I went to Oklahoma State University, and then I went on to the TCU Ranch Management program in Fort Worth, and I was actually in the feed yard for a while, but then my dad had some health issues, so I ended up coming back home to help him to ensure that the family farm and ranch could continue on. So that's kind of how I ended back at home.
Talk about the TCU Ranch Management Program, because I know that's very instrumental to furthering the education and helping a lot of young individuals. And you can apply to that program at any age, I believe.
Yes.
So talk about
Yes,
that
ma'am.
and how that was vital to your career now.
Yes, so I went for animal science, and I really found out that I needed more business expertise. So my friend told me about the program, and I was like, okay. So I went down there, and when I interviewed, they told me it was going to change my life, and then also my grandkids' life. And I was like, no way. But they were absolutely right, and it has completely changed the trajectory of my life and what I do on our operation day to day. You know, and it helped me figure out, like, our family operation wasn't big enough for me to come back home without bringing something back.
Oh, wow.
So I ended up having to create like a direct sales business, and then also we created an on-farm, like on-ranch Airbnb stay and converted a grain bin for people to come and stay. And it allows me to do what I love every single day and also host people on our ranch. So.
Wow, that's neat. Can you expand on that a little bit more?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's just a old silo that we converted into an Airbnb, and we host people from all over. They come through, and I live in the middle of nowhere, so it's kind of random. Like, why would people be traveling through Southwest Kansas, but they're going to the mountains? Or we have people who remote work a lot, and they just come to Airbnbs and stay throughout the country. So
that's really neat, and you're able to expose them if they're from all different walks of life, to what you guys do in the industry.
Yes, absolutely. And we've kind of made it a little bit ag touristicy, you know, so we have longhorns there that people can feed and that kind of stuff, but it really exposes them, and then they're very familiar with it. You know, it's so much different when you experience it firsthand versus see it on social media or on TV. It's a whole different experience. So.
Switching gears a little bit, being a female in the industry has its challenges, but it also is very rewarding. Talk about that a little more.
Yes, it is. You know, there's a lot of challenges, but I feel like if you just work hard and you get, you know, your boots on the ground type of a person, you can overcome anything. So,
how important is it to be here at an event like NCBA with like-minded people and just further your education in the industry, but also speak to other cattle producers and, you know, what's to come in the coming years?
Yeah, absolutely. It's so valuable to be here and to learn about what's going on in our industry, and there's so many unknowns with, you know, the administration change that we've had in the country, and just being up to date on what's going on, and you can get in your own little world on the ranch, you know, so it's so nice to get out and meet different people and network and have those connections that you can call on expertise, you know, like your nutrition people, and be able to brainstorm different ideas for what's going on your operation.
We've talked about this before, especially if people are in rural America, out in the middle of nowhere, like you said. Being a female, you know, out on a ranch alone can be lonely at times. You have a partner, you have your family, whatever your life looks like, but it can be lonely. Can you talk about that a little more?
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's why it's so instrumental to come to these different kinds of events. And the biggest way, like, because when I first moved home, I was single, didn't have a husband yet or anything like that. So I started sharing my story online just for like a creative outlet, because you get tired of doing the day-to-day stuff like building fence, moving cattle, putting out mineral, all of those things. So it was really an outlet for me to be able to, you know, combat that isolation that so many people fight.
Yeah. And I think that's a nice space to have, is the online presence, not only to advocate for the industry, but also to have an outlet, like you said, for yourself. Anybody that's watching this, if you could give any females words of encouragement, if they want to be a part of this industry, if they've strayed away from it and want to get back into it, what would you tell them?
Just start somewhere. You know, it just takes one little right action every day, and it catapults on top of each other. So, and there's so many willing people to, you know, connect with somebody online that you interact with or you like to, or if you know someone in real life, you know, there are so many willing hands to help you get started in this industry. So,
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us here, Lettie.
thank you so much for having me.